So Glenn just did a line for y'all. Y'all better be grateful, bitch.
It's crazy because all the people who used to be together in videos, from Jeff, Scoon, Gizzy the Tweaker, all those guys are dead now. It's crazy how one day you can be here and the next day not.
That man just named 3 people who are dead and gone now. But the one we are talking about today did not die the way you would expect for somebody from this world. He was in no rival block or gang shootout. It was a regular working man, a construction contractor who shot him dead while he was trying to rob the man's tools. The whole thing was over in under 5 minutes. This is Makai Moore, known to the streets as Gizzy the Tweaker. 19 years old, a coming-up drill rapper from Chicago's South Side, and on the evening of September 26, 2025, the day before what would have been his 20th birthday, 4 bullets to the chest ended everything. A robbery attempt that went completely sideways, and just like that, it was over. Before we get into what happened that evening, though, you need to understand who Gizzy was, where he came from, and what kind of world shaped him. Because none of what happened at the end makes sense without that foundation. So let us go back to the beginning.
Ain't that Lil Dave on the mix?
Hey, D-Lo, cut that shit up.
The number of illegally modified firearms recovered by police has increased 15-fold since 2019. A machine gun conversion device, extended magazine, drum magazine, automatic switch, privately made firearm,
was posed with this block we
or
caught a
defaced
bucket.
firearm, while committing any felony offense regardless of the class of that felony.
I have his post, but this blocker caught a bucket. I ain't have his post, but this blocker caught a bucket. I got bad hoes, thick shit, you wishing you could fuck it. Getting tired of these Chicago hoes, I want a bitch from Russia. Fast shit. SIT to JC finna race. You ain't get behind this cock cause we gon' take him on a taste. It's fuck the state. He got shot all in his face. Man down, we tryna taste him down. Draco gon' eat his face. Casamigos free code, she show her titties on the lake. Murder business ain't gon' plot, I'm gon' do whatever it take. It got deep up in this shit, so I had to make a way. I was dreaming about a brick, but I started with an 8. We was posted on the 8. Don't show no love, they only hate. Murder business, lonely OG tied a birthday on my...
Makai Moore was born on September 27, 2005, on Chicago's South Side. Growing up in and around the 74th to 79th Street corridors, the block set he came up under was called Dottie Road, sometimes written as Dottie Road or Dirty Road depending on who you ask. Some records mention South Holland, Illinois as a possible family address, but everyone who actually knew him placed him firmly inside Chicago's South Side drill world from day one. Before he ever had a real audience, Gizzy was rapping in underground ciphers, building his sound from scratch with no label, budget, or cosign from anyone outside his circle. His style was raw, unfiltered, high-energy drill that did not ask for your approval and was not trying to be polished.
I been cooling out the way when I bounce out, niggas check. When I bounce out, niggas check. Jeff at school been on my mind, they say I turned it to a threat. I been cooling out the way when I bounce out, niggas check. Jeff at school been on my mind, they see I turned it to a threat. In the trenches on my block, this shit so safe. The ice cream truck still serve the kids. We done made it safe again. Clean up the blocks, kill all the ops, throw a few shots, spit a few wigs. And this shit deep, that's how it is. It's about who lasts the longest, not who die quick, goofy. Now your bitch fucking on, bro, no shaking ass and showing titties. Risky road, no, we bake shit. Early morning on Maryland Bennett. Can't ride fishbowl, these whips 10. Alfie Kai is 5%. Look down on me, I turn gremlin. You won't catch me if I feel it. Bounced out outdoor, the drill it. Bounce out older, we go get 'em. Ambulance, they pick 'em up, they left 'em there. Ain't no hospital. Burp his ass, give 'em a bill. 762 knocking out chunks. I ain't never been no lame. I have my Glock eating that long.
Fans described him as unhinged in the best way. Chaotic delivery, different flows on every track, and lyrics that reflected exactly what life looked like where he was from. By April 2026, his most viewed track, Tweak Out, had pulled over 156,000 views on YouTube.
Chopper in through his flesh, started screaming, call for blood. There's 1,200 on my feet, and my jacket 21. You can't afford these type of jeans. I put tobacco house, shorty sold. We ain't hunting, but we want them, so we.
With Can't Forgive sitting around 54,000.
I know your love, putting that so you can eat. We don't stop no pay, long the OG. I'm sitting in my heart all the way up. But
not superstar numbers by any measure, but in the tight, block-specific world of Southside Chicago drill, that kind of organic traction means something real. Beyond those two tracks, a collaboration called No Issues with an artist named ABK Ello was out in the world, and there was more music in the pipeline that never got the chance to breathe. His Instagram under the handle @Gizzy_the_tweaker sought at around 3,400 followers, modest but moving. And his bio told you everything about where his loyalty sought. Dottie Gang, BH4L, Sellaway. 3 tags that laid out exactly who he was and what world he was operating in. To really understand Gizzy's story, you have to understand the 2 camps he moved with, because both of them shaped everything about how he carried himself and the risks that came with it. The first was Dottie Road, also called M60. This was a specific South Side block set running through the 74th and 79th Street area around Kingston Avenue. It was connected to a related group called Shorty Mop, though Gizzy was always clear that the two were not the same thing. More than just repping the name from the outside, he claims to have helped build what Dottie Road meant on those streets.
So they call this Dottie Road?
It's Dottie Road, it's that one block where a lot of you see I got sisters before.
Oh, yeah.
I really out here dolo, like I really put that shit on my back, so it's like, you see, but I don't know what's going on, boy. I don't let this shit right this way, Dottie Road, but for life, you know.
And when somebody asked him directly whether Shorty Mob and Dottie Road were the same thing, he broke it down with no hesitation.
So a lot of people also get this confused too. Is Shorty Mob and Dottie Road the same thing, or is it like a difference type shit?
It's 2 different. I'm Dottie. It's 2 different things. Shorty Mob, them my little brothers. I'm Dottie Road, but like I created that shit. Shit. Like Dottie Road, I'm
so it's 2
CEO,
different
like,
blocks type shit with them?
It is, but we brothers though, so it's like, Dottie Road, Reckless Way. That's what you say, Reckless Way, Dottie Road.
Okay, so when I title this,
but Reckless Way, that's Lil Ronald, and Dottie is Dottie Road, you feel me? It's 2 different people, but
so Reckless Way came after Ronald, right?
Yeah, Reckless Way.
That distinction wasn't just a technical correction to him, it was a point of pride, the kind of thing you only care about when you've genuinely put work into building something. The second world he moved in was the Bloodhounds, and that BH4L in his Instagram bio stood for Bloodhound for Life. Coming out of former Drill City members and operating primarily around East 79th Street and Maryland Avenue in the Chatham neighborhood, the Bloodhound crew had become well known across the Chicago drill scene by the time Gizzy was coming up, both for their sound and for a street reputation that was very much real. Through 2023 and 2024, that circle had been absorbing serious losses one after another, and the biggest name tied to all of it was Bloodhound Lil Jeff, which is the name that sits right at the center of understanding who Gizzy was. Born Jeffrey Lamar Harris Jr. on July 14, 2002, Bloodhound Lil Jeff was one of the most talked about figures in Chicago drill before his death in June of 2024. He had tens of millions of streams, a reputation that followed him everywhere, both from the music and from the streets.
Shit. Pop out Dizzy's tugs, Brian, bitch, we poker shit. 50 shots, you trapping, 12.
and death at 21 years old in the Woodland neighborhood after surveillance cameras captured a confrontation that the Chicago drill community has been dissecting ever since. Gizzy called him his OG, his real brother. Not in a casual, everybody is my brother kind of way either, but in the way you talk about someone who genuinely shaped how you see yourself and how you move through the world.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask my boy, I see you went over, you just lost your OG, you wanna know like tell us how that feels?
I don't see how that shit different, it just got me striving better, you know? I can't even really, it's so much shit, like, but that was my real brother, like, I don't see it before brother died, I don't see it we was arguing on my dead cousin, but it wasn't on no shit like that. It was like we had a disagreement, blood.
Like right before?
Right before, blood, I'm still in 30 minutes, blood, my called me talking about my brother was gone, that shit hurt. That's why I moved the way I do, blood, that shit hurt, blood, I don't see it, but you know, I don't see it, you know what you know, brother, that shit, you know. Put that shit on crib, free loyalties too, boy. I don't see a free slick, man. I go to show, I know how this shit gets, boy. We doing this shit with no label. We doing this shit with no label. I'm out there, cousin. We doing this shit with no label, boy. These niggas be real gunk.
The gap between the two men in terms of public profile was significant. 1.6 million monthly Spotify listeners, 343,000 YouTube subscribers, and a track called Shoulda Saw It approaching 40 million views on YouTube alone for Lil Jeff, compared to Gizzy's 109 YouTube subscribers and a few thousand Instagram followers. But in the circles they moved in, Gizzy was understood as part of that same bloodline, a younger member of the same wave who was still climbing when everything stopped.
Weeb ass man.
Long live Storm, long live Jeff.
Yeah.
What the?
60 right here.
This shit reckless man for life. Versus up.
And 60 Doty Road.
You see the song? Look. Doing this shit with no label. You know what's going on? This shit reckless, they Doty Road, but for life.
Every interview, tribute, and comment section connected to Gizzy carries the same weight underneath it. The weight of how many people in his circle were already gone before he got there. Not just Lil Jeff, Lil Scoom Bond, Fat Drench, names that kept appearing in the same breath, connected to the same blocks and the same era, all of them gone before they had a chance to see 30.
For real, cause a lot of shit be really hurting me for. I ain't gonna go. We done lost a lot of people, blood on sale. But don't get that shit twisted. A lot of people done lost their people too on sale for f***ing with us, you know? But it's like, that's how that shit goes though. This shit real Doty Road on sale for. Y'all gonna see, blood. We got a lot of shit in store.
When he said that last part, he was talking about enemies. Within a year of saying those words on camera, his own name would be added to the list, and the people watching that vlog back after his death would have to sit with that irony and figure out what to do with it. The Doty Road Hood vlog was recorded in the summer of 2025, just a few months before he died, and in it, Gizzy looked comfortable, relaxed, talking about music he had coming, about loyalty, about putting the block on his back. He was performing the version of himself the streets expected, while something more honest slipped through in between.
Y'all see this shit really out the mud, bro. I'm pretty sure, man. Come on now, bro. This shit reckless, man, for life, bro.
He didn't know that year would be his last one. And that brings us to the evening of September 26th, 2025. Chicago's Chatham neighborhood sits on the south side, not far from the blocks where Gizzy grew up and repped. Mostly residential, single-family homes, some being renovated, some that have been standing for decades without much change. On the afternoon of September 26, 2025, one of those homes was an active construction site with a lone contractor working inside on a renovation job. Just a regular working man trying to finish his shift. Multiple sources have reported the address as 79 East 89th Street, sitting in the first block near Michigan Avenue. And what made it a target was how visible it was. Tools out, contractor's truck on the street, the kind of setup that signals easy pickings to someone looking for a quick come-up. Construction site robberies in Chicago follow a well-documented pattern. People pulling up on job sites demanding tools, equipment, and vehicles, and enough of it had been happening that some workers in certain areas started carrying legally just for situations like this. The contractor at that house that day was one of those workers. Valid Illinois concealed carry license, legal firearm on his person, just there to get his work done. At approximately 5:03 in the evening, a vehicle pulled up to the renovation site. Gizzy and at least 3 other people climbed out, and the 4 individuals walked into the house where the contractor was working and confronted him directly. They threatened to kill him during the confrontation. That threat was the moment everything changed. The contractor drew his firearm and fired approximately 4 shots in self-defense, all connecting with Gizzy in the chest. The other 3 people turned and ran immediately, back to their vehicle, out of the area, leaving Gizzy behind, on the ground, without a second look. When Chicago police arrived at the scene, they found Gizzy lying in the street, 4 gunshot wounds to the chest. But the official police account, as reported by the Chicago Sun-Times, stated the shooting happened while he was inside the home. Those 2 things sound like a contradiction, but they actually are not when you put the full picture together. The most straightforward explanation, and the one that fits all the available details, is that the confrontation happened inside the renovation house. The contractor fired inside that residence, and Gizzy, already shot and badly wounded, made it out through the door and collapsed in the street before police got there. That is why 2 firearms were recovered from inside the home, and it is why the official CPD account and the street-level eyewitness reports describe 2 different physical locations without actually disagreeing on what went down. Officers performed CPR on Gizzy before transporting him to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. The Cook County Medical Examiner confirmed the cause of death as multiple gunshot wounds to the chest. 2 guns were recovered at the scene, and both of them tell part of the story. The first belonged to the contractor, his legally carried handgun, the same one he used to defend himself. Taken as evidence during the investigation, meaning he went home that night without his own weapon, which is standard procedure even in a clear self-defense case, and would have required him to go through the evidence return process once the investigation officially closed. The second firearm is understood across all the reports to have belonged to Gizzy or one of the people with him, brought to that house specifically for the robbery. The contractor stayed at the scene and cooperated fully when police arrived, which is exactly what a person with nothing to hide does. He was taken into custody the same evening for routine questioning and released without charges that same day, because that is what happens when the facts align clearly with the law. The case was assigned to Area 2 detectives, the unit covering Chicago's South Side. After reviewing the contractor's statement alongside the physical evidence and the 2 firearms recovered from inside the house, Chicago police and the Cook County State Attorney's Office concluded that the shooting was lawful self-defense under Illinois' Concealed Carry Act. Under Illinois law, using deadly force is legally justified when a person reasonably believes they are facing an immediate threat of death, serious physical harm, or a forcible felony. An armed robbery with a death threat attached is about as clear a forcible felony as the law recognizes. There is one piece of information that circulated in some secondary reporting and has never been officially confirmed by any authority, but it is worth mentioning because it might explain something that otherwise does not make obvious sense. One report from Shooting News Weekly claims that Gizzy may have been under the influence of what the streets call freedom pills at the time of the incident, street language that usually refers to PCP or similar substances that alter how a person reads danger and controls their own reactions. The suggestion in that reporting was that this might explain why Gizzy stayed at the scene while the other 3 people in his group immediately fled, because someone in that state does not always respond to a threat the way a sober person would. No toxicology from the Cook County medical examiner has been made public to confirm or deny any of this, so it stays in the category of unverified secondary reporting. But without something like it, the question of why one person out of 4 got left behind while the others escaped cleanly is one that does not have an easy answer. This shooting did not happen in a vacuum. Just 3 months before Gizzy was killed, an 18-year-old named Dayon Faisal was shot and killed by a 36-year-old concealed carry holder in Chicago's Humboldt Park neighborhood, after Faisal had already carjacked a vehicle and robbed 2 women at gunpoint in under 20 minutes.
Also say a man was shot by the person he was trying to rob in Westtown last night. Police say a 36-year-old man was getting some things out of his car near Artesian and Hirsch, and that's when an armed suspect demanded his belongings. Police say the would-be robbery victim, who's a concealed carry license holder, pulled out his own gun and shot the suspect several times. The would-be robber is in critical condition right now.
Same outcome as the Gizzy case in every meaningful way. The person attempting the robbery was killed, the licensed carrier walked free, and the case was ruled self-defense with no charges filed. Chicago had been seeing a steady rise in these types of incidents through 2024 and 2025. Legally armed, regular people, not police, not security guards, just workers and residents who chose to carry legally, encountering armed robbers and responding with lethal force. Illinois law had consistently protected those defenders when the facts were clear, and the Gizzy case dropped right into the middle of that pattern without a single detail out of place.
The robbery gone bad, and the people at the construction site, they was kind of prepared and alert for shit like this, you know. We done seen this recently with CCL licensed carriers are shooting people. Rapper Lil Mari Block recently was involved in a robbery and a carjacking of a lady that he didn't know was a CCL license, holder, and she shot him up, He survived though, so I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this, but Gizzy the Tweaker, he lost his life, due to a robbery. This guy was known in the street as an enforcer, even though he was young and shit like that. You clearly see him and Jeff all the time and shit like that. It's crazy because all the people who used to be together in videos, from Jeff, Scoon, Gizzy the Tweaker, all those guys are dead.
So that is what the official record shows, what the police found, what the detectives concluded, and what the law decided. But there's a whole other layer to this story that no official record touches. What did Gizzy's death mean to the people who knew him? What happens to the music after he was gone? And what does his story say about the world he came from and the losses that keep piling up inside it? September 26, 2025 was the evening before Mecky Moore's 20th birthday, and that detail spread fast the moment news of his death hit the internet. Some early posts and even a few news articles described the shooting happening on his 19th birthday, which is technically wrong. His birthday was September 27th. But dying the night before your 20th and dying on it are not a distinction that changes anything meaningful for the people who loved him. He was hours away from 20 and never got there. His mother is Tamika C. Smith. His brother is Talib Moore, and his sisters are Jamila Smith and Dinasia Smith. Funeral arrangements were handled by Wheatley Funeral Home in Calumet City, Illinois, with the homegoing service held at the Ebenezer Church. The full service was recorded and uploaded to YouTube, family introductions, the obituary read aloud, people standing up to speak about who Mekki was to them. His family's grief, all of it, is publicly available for anyone with an internet connection to watch whenever they feel like it. His music is still up on YouTube, the views climbing slowly the way they always do when someone leaves before their time. Comments still coming in from people who found him too late.
Yeah, Glizzy. Those Glizzy just did a line for y'all. Y'all better be grateful, bitch.
Ryan, what took you so long?
I got a fall, but I'm still kind of on them. And the midst of it all, we all got a fall, but I'm still standing on nigga. In the midst of it all, we all got a fall, but I'm still standing my nigga. They counted me out, I stood 10 toes, and I'm still getting real bigger. You ain't never stood over no nigga. You ain't never stood over no nigga. Call no our birthday and drenched. Put that Glock all in his temple. Get that shit up, this shit simple. We making niggas example. Where you going around? The cat got the gun. We got a switch on the back of a drum. Bell on our cars and leave it shit slump. Somebody come pick us up right away. Ambulance ain't even come. Homicide ain't wrap them up. Like, why they ain't pick us that up? Los on the right and Scum on the left. You bet out we shootin', we throw through your tongue. I know that she love me, I really don't love her. I'm just tryna fuck, I'm just having fun. I'm just tryna fuck, I'm just having fun. How you a killer? We bail out the car, we swing on them doors, you little boys just run. I don't got no time to be beefing with niggas that don't come outside and blowing they gun. Clapping that shit, leaving shit honey burn.
And somewhere on the south side of Chicago, a family is still learning how to carry a loss that arrived the evening before a birthday. What do you think about this murder case? Let me know in the comments section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this one. See you in the next one.